WWE Smackdown Valentine's Day. The show that gave a lot, showed a lot, and answered a lot. We have new women's title match now finally announced for WrestleMania. We have chamber qualifying matches showing what's the chamber going to look like. We have a bit of an update surrounding maybe the Jade Cargill situation. So there was a lot that happened in this show, and we'll jump in and talk about it. It starts with the champion himself, Cody Rhodes, out in the ring talking about, the chamber, going through the contestants in the chamber, who could win, who could be the guy that faces him at Mania. Key point, a lot of times things can change in wrestling. That Cena getting the loudest pop is something that will be noted down, that's for sure. Old Drew comes down. He comes down and he talks, Cody, I'm trying to be your friend. I try to be nice, to do all these things for you, and all you do is attack me. And you made it personal. And Cody said, wait, look, I've not forgotten that you are one of the only few that have beaten me since I've returned to WWE, which, again, plant those seeds, something to come back to later down the line, because I see these two feuding in the next wrestling year, post-WrestleMania onwards, I see them feuding. Then Jacob Fatu interrupts, and again, another key thing to note is that Jacob Fatu was getting pops from the crowd bigger than these two are getting. It was loud for Jacob, and I'm not surprised. On the mic he's dynamic, in the ring he's dynamic. He makes things feel really, really real. And that's why Brock has always been a guy that's been, even though as a part-timer, anytime Brock's music hits, the whole stadium takes notice. And Jacob's kind of the similar sort of mold. He talks about winning the chamber, talks about winning at Mania, and bringing the title back to the family. And then the camera basically pans to Solo driving in, which Jacob tells Cody, I've got something to deal with Solo. Anyway, first match of the night, was Naomi versus Chelsea Green in a qualifying match for the Women's Elimination Chamber. The theme, I guess, of the matches of this show mostly was how many roll-ups can you get in a match? Doesn't matter if they're successful or not, how many roll-ups can you get in a match? I think this started off with 3 roll-ups, 3 back-to-back roll-ups, I think maybe. I'm not too sure. After the commercial break, there was more roll-ups. Chelsea hits a backcracker for a 2, goes for the Unpretty off the top rope, gets countered. Naomi hits the X Factor for 3. So Naomi goes into the chamber match. Obviously, Bianca's still in there now. That's, I think, something you can play off of with the Jade Cargill situation. There's obviously that. Then you have the Motor City Machine Guns versus Los Garza. High pace, as you can expect. This was a really good match. I enjoyed it. Lots of quick tags, lots of action going on, left, right, and center. Again, lots of quick roll-ups. There was a move that Motor City Machine Guns had, a tag team move. It was a drop kick into a flatliner, which that was pretty gnarly. With Garza breaking that up at like 2.999 seconds. It was a high-paced match. Motor City Machine Guns win, as you can expect. Obviously, having lost the title match, you wanted to get them back in the win column, build up some momentum again. Obviously, with the fact that SmackDown's tag team division is actually really, really solid. I think that's the issue of Raw. Raw doesn't feel like a good tag team setup, a good tag team division. Whereas SmackDown, you've got Pretty Deadly, you've got DIY, obviously the champions, Motor City Machine Guns, Los Garza, Street Profits. There's so many. And I think it's definitely one of the strong points of SmackDown at the moment. The promo then backstage of Solo and Jacob. It's really Solo being like, I've not been right since losing the Ula Fala to Roman, but I feel good now. He also uses the line on Jacob, like, Jacob, I love you. Is there a dynamic switch? Leader is maybe changing. You'll see what I mean in a bit. You have Nakamura out in the ring saying that there's no Warriors on SmackDown. There's no tests on SmackDown. Then LA Knight interrupts saying, hey, you give her a test? I gave you that test and you failed, right? Then the Miz interrupts, and Miz and Knight having a back and forth promo, which if you remember the promos they had a while ago that were great, these were the exact same. It was still great, okay? LA Knight saying like, hey, you've not been relevant for 10 years. You should start a farewell tour like John Cena just so you can go away. Miz pretends to cry and then says Knight is not on his level. Miz tried a surprise attack Aldous then makes the match official between the two. It was a good match. It was a match that you could tell Miz is a real veteran of the game because, LA Knight's going for loads of explosive moves, loads of high octane moves. Miz slowing it down, headlocks, getting him down to the mat. Nakamura was on the outside of the ring, and you could tell there was a dynamic, to try and build up something there between obviously really LA Knight and Nakamura. LA Knight obviously wins that, not surprisingly. No one really had much control in this match. It wasn't really one of those sort of matches, but he wins with a BFT out of nowhere, hits an elbow drop from the top, and obviously Knight wins. And then they tease it after the match. Nakamura's holding up the title, you can expect. You then have Carmelo versus R-Truth. This came from basically a backstage segment where it was like, hey, Truth, sorry about your boy last week, but I am him. And R-Truth's like, You're not him. You're Carmelo. That's Tozawa, and basically just acting dumb. Match has been made. Quick match as you can expect. High pace. R-Truth trying to do a few of John Cena's moves. Obviously gets blocked. Melo wins, but nothing but net. It's not shocking, but Melo wins. And again, it's just trying to build a little momentum behind Melo because Melo's a really great character, really great wrestler. Try and build some momentum around him. This is what these matches should be. They're not squash matches, but they're not far off of that. Enough time that Melo can display his talents, but obviously not infuse that he's going to lose because the idea is you want to build him up. He was a high draft pick for a reason, You then have the women's championship match between Tiffy and Nia Jax, and as you can expect from a match like this, Nia Jax just dominates 99% of the match. There's nothing really shocking, really, in terms of this match. Loads of Samoan drops off second ropes and things like that. Brutal moves, really. But the match ends as Tiffy's going up for the prettiest moonsault. As she gets onto the second rope, Candice LeRae sort of pushes her feet. She falls. Nia Jax obviously then takes and beats her up a little bit, but obviously it's a DQ finish. Candice LeRae throws a chair into the ring. Trish Stratus stops Candice LeRae, hits her, pushes Nia off of the ropes and down. Then obviously, as you can expect, the heels take back control. Hits Trish. Trish is down. Hits a leg drop on Tiffy. And then Charlotte's Flair music hits. Comes down to the ring. Sits on the chair going, it's Tiffy time. Mocking, really, what Tiffy's all about. And then saying, the Queen chooses you. Which, that got a good reaction. So I'm happy about that. And obviously then, as you can expect, the match has been officially made for Mania. So there we go. The Royal Rumble winners have chosen who they're going to be against. Now we find out the Chamber. The winner of the Chamber will be facing Rhea, and the winner of the Chamber will be facing Cody, which I sort of expected, because of the fact Jay chose Gunther, because they want to make that men's title feel more on level with SmackDown title. I even said in reviews past, I said the winner of Charlotte's going to choose Tiffy because they want one to choose Raw, one to choose SmackDown, and then the Chamber's facing the other side because I think it's a better dynamic than one side getting both matches made. There's nothing really to play for then. There's nothing really to build up to. And the other side having too much where you can build up loads. You want to mix and match, So, right decision in my opinion. And then obviously the main event was a triple threat elimination chamber match, qualifying match between Jacob Fatu, Braun Strowman, and Damian Priest with, obviously it was a no DQ. Chairs have been flung around. Steel steps being flung around. Strowman and Fatu just beating 7 living hells out of one another. Really, Damian Priest was kind of an afterthought in this whole match, to be honest. He kind of was on the receiving end of most things rather than being on the forefront of things. So, really was the two big boys going at it. It looks like Strowman's going to hit Jacob where he's got a chair around his neck. Solo out of nowhere, Samoan spike to Strowman. Everyone, it's a dynamic change. Normally that would be like a Jacob getting involved and Solo picking up the win. This time it was the other way around. Cody's music hits, runs down, attacks Solo. Tama comes in, attacks Cody. Obviously, its spiral was really out of control. Strowman again, Strowman, Cody, all these guys getting involved, basically taking out the newer bloodline of, even though they're not called the bloodline anymore. With then at the end, Priest hitting South of Heaven on Strowman to win. So now Priest is in the Elimination Chamber match as well. So you got Punk, you got Cena, you got Priest, Rollins. You would expect him to be in there. You got Logan Paul. I'm probably missing someone off the top of my head right now, but I can't remember who. Yeah, can't remember who, but the Chamber's setting up really, really nicely. This show today, the show was good. I enjoyed it. Lots of really interesting spots. Obviously, the Jacob Solo dynamic, how that's going to turn out. Obviously, the Chamber match is really starting to take shape, and obviously, the Rumble winners have picked who they're going to want to face at Mania. So, lots of good stuff. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'll see you next time. Peace.